Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Literary Lord, and today we're gonna discuss the Act 5 of the drama The Way of the World, written by William Congreve. So here we begin with the Act 5 Scene 1. This scene is started after some time of the previous one. Lady Wishford was by the time well aware of the plot played by Mirabel and all the characters of it involved in it. She was scolding Foible for being the part of it and said that she would send her back to rags from where she brought her to her big house and made her the governess of it, which she didn't deserve. Foible, on the other hand, asked her vehement apology from her lady, and said that it was Mirabel's seductive ways which made her stick into it, and also gave the references of Lady Wishford's affair with Mirabel in previous to tell her that it was once she herself was entangled in the seduction of Mirabel, hence she, being the weaker one, too got into it. But it was all in vain, and Lady Wishford told her that the disguised Sir Rowland who is actually Waitwell, was already in the prison. And then it was his wife's time that she went to call the constable to get Foible arrested. Then came Mrs. Final and asked about the lamentation of Foible, and she told her everything which happened. She said that Marwood, after the letter, told everything which she heard from the cupboard, but she didn't told about the involvement of Mrs. Final into the plot, which was somehow a relief for her. Then Mrs. Final told her that though Lady Wishford was unaware of her involvement in the plot, but Marwood told Final about the previous affair of Mrs. Final and Mirabel, hence they were parting that very day, which was an actual relief for Mrs. Final. Then came Mincing and told Foible that Millamant wanted to see her, and also present with Mirabel was also present with her, and they wanted her to hide in the cupboard of Miss Millamant till the lady's anger gets cooled down. And she gave her a good news that Mirabel managed to get Waitwell his liberty. Mincing also told that Miss Millamant was ready to marry Sir Wilful in order to save her inheritance of wealth rather than losing it to love. And then she told to Mrs. Final that she saw Final saying something to Lady Wishford which made her cry. And in this way, the scene ended. Act 5, Scene 2. This scene began in Lady Wishford's room where she, with Mrs. Marwood and Mrs. Final, were present. Lady Wishford thanked Marwood for telling all things timely and for being so helpful always in matter of Mirabel and in the matter of Sir Rowland as well. Then Lady Wishford turned towards Mrs. Final and asked her about her involvement in the plot and also her cuckoldism with Mirabel, and the accusations were denied by Mrs. Final, and also she pointed towards Marwood being mistress of Final, to which Marwood showed as if she was badly disrespected. But in fact, Mrs. Final only spoke the truth. After this, Mrs. Final was scolded by her mother, and then she left. Lady Wishford then gave a big lecture on her daughter's upbringing, and then said that if she was saying no to the cuckoldism and her involvement in the plot, then they may seek court for the investigation of the matter. But Marwood cunningly played and said that it would badly hurt the prestige of Lady Wishford, after which she would not be able to show her face anywhere in the society. Hence, Lady Wishford was again trapped to deal with Final with his demands. Then came Final with his demands, which restricted Lady Wishford from further marriage, so that the full inheritance of her remains with her daughter, which her husband would enjoy. And the next thing was that she would also give £6,000 of inheritance to Final, which was reserved for Miss Millamant, as she gave up that on her will by refusing to marry Sir Wilful, whom her aunt chose for her marriage. Lady Wishford showed her resentment towards the deal, but Final said that it was not an opinion but a demand to keep his mouth shut, and finally Lady Wishford somehow agreed but asked for some time, and Final gave her the time as long as it would take him to bring the papers and went away. Then came Miss Millamant and Wilful, and they announced that they were ready to marry, to which Lady Wishford was shocked but was happy too. Miss Millamant said that she was ready to sacrifice herself for her lady, and also that she was not the part of the plot. and said that in order to denounce the previous agreements with her lover, Mirabel, she wanted to call him in her presence and ask him to cancel all the contracts and be the witness of her new marriage with Sir Wilful. Lady Wishford showed her deep regret in calling Mirabel, but knowing the fact that this would be the last time he would ever trouble her, she agreed. And then came Mirabel, with a good long lecture and apology and asking pity, and also the fact that then he would leave forever. On Wilful's request, Lady Wishford agreed and tried to forgive and forget things somehow. Mirabel said that his servant was away to bring the papers, and with this the scene ended. Act 5, Scene 3. This scene began in the same room where Lady Wishford, including Miss Millamant, Miss Marwood, Sir Wilful, Mirabel, and Final were present at the moment. Final, as per his previous saying, asked Lady Wishford to sign the deal, to which she said that she would, but she could not do that, as she lost the power of £6,000 for inheritance of Miss Millamant, as she agreed to marry Wilful, who was the choice of her aunt only. This was this way, Sir Wilful had the clear right to that money, and Final lost the right to even ask for it. And Sir Wilful challenged him that if he would, then he had the ways to stop him too. And also because Mirabel gave up his contract with Millamant. Then, losing in that ground, Final changed it and said that he would defame his wife and would have all her possession. In answer to that, Mirabel, with the permission of Lady Wishford and her promise to let him marry his love, he called Mrs. Final, with Foible and Mincing, who became witness for Marwood's and Final's affair, and also asked Waitwell, Whitwood, and Petulant to come for. Waitwell brought the contract, and the other two were the witness of it, that prior to the marriage of Final and Mrs. Final, Mirabel had a contract with Mrs. Final that she would give all her property to Mirabel, which made Final's threatening null and void. Then, being irritated and badly defeated, he went away by saying words to his wife, and Mirabel followed, and Marwood followed him. Lady Wishford was very happy and pleased by her daughter and Mirabel, and he told her that Sir Wilful had no problem letting the two lovers marry, hence he would step away from the marriage with Miss Millamant, and he did the same thing on the condition that they would join him on the travel. Lady Wishford agreed to Mirabel and Miss Millamant's marriage, and Mirabel tore the contract done by Mrs. Final with him so that she could live a happy life with all her property and all her money. And we got a happy ending, and in this way, not just the scene, not just the act, but the whole drama ended. Thank you very much, everyone, for being such a patient listener.